Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Satnam, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Gobind, and this is your Channel for Grace. Thank you guys so much for being here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. We have a special guest tonight. We have Heather Franks here. She is one of my good friends and also an amazing Akashic reader, past life regressionist, sound healer, Reiki master, so many awesome and beautiful things that she is here to share with the world. And today she's going to join us for mini readings. So welcome, Heather. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to do this little co-created container with you.
Yes, I love it. I'm just going to do a little sound check to make sure that you guys can actually hear both of us. And also at the same time, I do want to share that for those that haven't watched in a while, or yeah, I think they can hear you. Okay. That haven't watched in a while, I am in a total transition right now. And so I'm at my house, which is not finished yet, not even close. And I've got a generator going that's in the background. So if you hear that, that's what's going on. But we're here and we're so excited to do these mini readings. So the way that, the way that this works is we have a list going. We have one person on the list so far that got on the list, I think, earlier today or possibly yesterday. And what we're going to do is, as people get on the list, I'm going to have the order ready, and I'll call your name. And once it's your turn, you'll just tell us your question in the chat, and then we will do the reading for you. And so the room is totally open. The list is open for anyone that wants to get on it. And we're going to wait for the first person whose reading we're going to do. As soon as they come in, we'll get started. But in the meantime, why don't we share which cards we're going to be using? What cards are you going to be using?
Yeah, so I am going to be using my Neon Pam Rider-Waite deck. So this is my absolute favorite. So I also have a beautiful variety of some of my favorite oracle decks. I have the Lyran deck that you were playing with that you probably already have by now. And then also, I really love this little affirmation deck. This is another one I think you really liked when you were here.
I
It's just like really good,
yes.
meaty little bits of helpful advice. So I've got that one here. I've got the Beyond Lemuria deck. I have kind of a variety, just depending on kind of what people's intentions are and what they need. I kind of grab different ones. So I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. So I actually also have like I have three different decks. Obviously everything's pretty much put away, but I managed to pull my Gene Key ones out, the Wisdom Keepers, which I freaking love this deck. It's amazing. I'm also going to be using the Rider Waite. So basically, we both have a tarot deck, which I love that. And I'm going to also use the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit cards. These I feel like give such powerful messages, potent messages. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And while we wait for our first person to come into the chat, I would love for you to share with everyone like what it is that you do. Like, who is Heather? How do we find out a little more about Heather?
Yeah, thank you. Well, hello, I'm Heather Franks. So I am a spiritual healer, I guess, in a nutshell. I'm just a seeker and a teacher. I've been on my own spiritual journey for about 12 years, and I've been like a full-time spiritual business owner, I guess, for 8 years now. Kind of like you said, I actually started off in the realm of like traditional hypnosis and quantum healing hypnosis, and then sort of branched off from there as I was just sort of seeking and healing myself. So sort of through the process of becoming a Reiki master, that really opened up my clairs and gave me a lot to work with there. So that is kind of what I'm bringing to you today. It's just a culmination of all my little supers
I love
that
it.
have turned on over the years. So, I channel just like angels, spirit guides, aspects of myself, and I get a lot of Akashic information. So yeah, just a lot of fun little sensitivities and things drop in.
I love
So
that. Yeah. So
yeah.
you work with a lot of people that I mean you do a lot of things. But one of the things that I know that you are really good at because you've been doing it for a really long time is the past life regression and connecting to past lives. So uh,
It's it just happens. It's just there for me. And you've done my STARSEED reading where I have the nodes in the galactic center. So it's just kind of a natural plug-in for me.
mhm.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love it. I really like this life. It's a fun one.
Yeah, right. Oh, thank God. Same, same. Even though things are kind of crazy, it's still super fun. Um, because the experiences that I feel like I'm having lately are so wild and so different from anything I think that I've ever experienced, but also so real and like so activating. And it's exciting to think of like what's what's coming in the future, in the near future and like in the extended future. And this for me feels like such a huge step. And I know that a lot of it has to do with the fact that like I personally have surrendered to whatever it is, the universe wants to show me, help me learn, and how it wants to help me grow and evolve. And I love that you mentioned the nodes being on, the galactic center points because it's true. Like there are certain qualities that we have that we're born with that are natural, and you may also be really good at something too, and you might not even know it. So yeah, it's just super fun.
It is. It is really interesting. And, when you're just, I feel like when you're raising your vibration in any capacity, whether that's through food or eating or just whatever, chanting, yoga, I feel like it just starts to turn on whatever you have, whether that's
Totally.
mediumship or just, all of your
Yeah.
natural stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. Again, I love having you here as a guest. Thanks for also showing up with me during this crazy transition because it's also like it's so synchronistic, and I know that our meeting, you doing the moon goddess training specifically this year, all the things that have unfolded since you kind of came into the picture this year more presently, I guess, for me,
Mhm.
in the realm here of the channel for grace, I all the things that are happening to me are so random and crazy that I know that it's meant to be. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
I love it.
yeah,
And I feel like same. And I love how we kind of started, working together. And it's been such a beautiful, just getting to know you and building that friendship and, just all the little things that we do together. I love it. But I feel like we're all globally in this kind of in between timelines thing where we're all sort of there's just this huge timeline shifting. I feel like where we're all really getting to where we're supposed to be going, wherever that is. And so like I'm on that same thing with you. Like, it's a little different, but it's wild. The energy is wild and super expansive. That's for sure.
yeah, yeah, totally. Um, that's interesting. That somebody just said that there's an echo when you're talking. Let me just check it out real quick. Hang on one second.
Like I'm on that same thing with you. Like, it's a little different,
I don't
but
hear an echo, Jeanette, so I wonder.
wild and super expansive. Hi, Jeanette.
No, I don't hear an echo at all. Okay. We're gonna keep going because as long if I can't hear it in the on the actual live of YouTube on my phone, I have it playing. That's interesting. If anyone else hears it, let us know. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. So our first reading is for Ruby. And Ruby, are you here in the chat right now? Hopefully Ruby is here. And also, Jeanette says hi, Heather. So Ruby sent me an email earlier, letting me know this kind of extensive situation that she's been having. But I wanted to ask if you could put basically what you want as an outcome, like what question do you actually have in the chat, so that both Heather and I can actually see your question, and we both have like the information that we need, and we can both tune in to your energy, and yeah. So, anyways, Jeanette, do you know if she's here? If Ruby's here? All the delays, you have to like wait for the messages to come in. And if not,
Do we want to like open up the ceremony while we wait
yes,
for
please.
rubies to
Thank
drop
you.
in and for people
Yes.
to kind of start to come online?
Yes, please. Let's do.
Okay, I will go ahead and do that. So I'm just asking for beautiful divine light to surround us, and I'm calling upon our angels, our combined team of angels, guides, and ancestors and beings of light to enter into this time and space and to make us a channel for healing on behalf of ourselves and on behalf of the collective for the highest good of all. And so it is.
Sat Nam. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so then we're gonna go to you, Jeanette, since she's not here yet. So what do you want to ask? And what is your question? And for those of you that want to get on the list is open. So feel free to send. It's $33 to my PayPal. And once I see the payment went through, then I'll let you know when it's your turn, and you can ask the question live in the chat, and we'll answer it for you. We can do tarot. I can also look at astrology and other modalities as well. And if you choose a different modality, Heather is gonna still do intuitive reading and pull some cards for you as well. So that
the way I work is kind of as those intentions get set, stuff kind of drops in, and then that in combination with the cards will be my little 2 cents. And then, I will say that I do have like a mediumship gift. However, I've never actually tried doing that live. But so that is something that could potentially be there as well. So.
Yeah, I've worked with people who have done mediumship in readings, like live readings. And yeah, it can totally be super personal. I've actually done that before as well. And it mostly kind of is spontaneous in a way. Yeah. Just when it shows up, it kind of shows up. So.
And that's how it works for me. It's like it's either happening or it's not.
Yeah. Okay. So Jeanette, what's your question? We would love for you to ask a question. She wants the tarot cards. But what do you want to ask? Or if you want to do a general reading, then let us know that as well. And I'm going to just start kind of shuffling cards.
Me too.
While we're at it.
Me too. I'm just going to start kind of tuning into your energy. I'm so glad you're here. I was thinking about you were on my mind today, Jeanette, actually. So.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Seashells, if you get on the list, you can ask a question. And the way to get on the list is to send $33 to my PayPal. And the link is in the description of this video. And then once I see the payment has gone through, then you're on the list. And I'll let you know when it's your turn. Jeanette says, feel pulled in so many directions of being there for everyone. Yes, we know. There's a lot of that going on. So, if you start getting messages, Heather, feel free to just go at it. I'm just waiting to see if she has a question. I think she might just want a general reading, whatever comes through. So let's just do general reading. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull, I'm going to do like my usual 5-card spread, which is like intuition, overall, challenge, overall theme, wisdom from the ancestors, and animal spirit. And then a general message for Jeanette. Feeling pulled in so many directions. What does she need to know at this time? What can help her in life right now?
So is it okay if I kind of start speaking to what's coming through for me over here? Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. So the first 2 cards that I pulled for you is the Queen of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. And I was kind of asking, for some reason, the first thing that I was kind of tuning into as I was connecting to your energy is like a health thing, or potentially like some fatigue or potential like overextension. And so as I saw the Queen of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune come out, it kind of was, telling me that, the Queen of Cups is the queen of love and emotions. She is the giving one. She is nurturing. And then I really feel like the Wheel of Fortune is when it's like timelines. It's when I feel like timelines are shifting. And then I also pulled the 3 of Swords. And so I was just feeling like this might be a lot for you right now. So one of the things that is also coming in is that you might potentially be a little bit like me, and sometimes you need like permission to rest. And so kind of the message that I feel dropping in is to make sure that as you're doing all of these wonderful things in your timeline shifting and giving all of this love and emotion, that you are like resting and integrating. So I really love this cute little deck that I have. So the two cards that came out is Loving Energy and Loving Thoughts. So I will just read these really quick before I hand it off to you, Jai. So as I move throughout this day, I surround myself with loving energy. I consciously place myself within an energy field that supports, protects, and shields me. Today, I pay attention to my thoughts. My mind is a garden. I nourish all I wish to grow, gently removing all that hinders compassion for my most beloved and cherished self. And then I'll pull some oracle cards while Jai's doing her thing.
Perfect. Man, I love that deck so much. Those cards, the vibrancy of the colors just are so amazing.
I know.
I loved those two cards that you pulled. I mean, that is very much Jeanette energy for sure, especially the Queen of Cups and the emotional space and nurturing space that she holds for everyone around her. She is like that matriarch energy. And the Wheel of Fortune is like, it's the twist of fate, you know? It's like something is changing. Like, it could also be what's going on right now in your life is very much connected to healing past lives, healing karma, because that wheel is like the wheel of time that's turning. So there's something really beautiful there. I love those two cards together. And then the Three of Hearts, it's like you have experienced, I think, within yourself, so much change and such drastic change in your life lately that like it feels heavy, you know, and it's like a heavy heart. Like you love what you do, and at the same time it's not easy, you know. That's what that makes me think of.
And I love that, because that is exactly kind of what I tuned into. It's that you're literally so amazing and you're on track. But keep in mind that it's like okay to observe how things make you feel without judgment. Give yourself rest, and also know that it's okay to be healing at the same time as we're shifting timelines. So, and the other thing that I was kind of feeling as I was tuning into this is I don't know, ever since the Mercury retrograde started, I've been feeling just some clearing stuff coming up for myself, and I didn't necessarily know where it was coming from. And so that past life piece that you're talking about, too, sometimes I feel like we are not accidentally, but other timelines kind of bleed into this one to almost let us know, like, hey, there's a little bit of clearing that is needed here. And so sometimes not judging these feelings like, oh, it means something's wrong. It's like, oh, not necessarily. Like sometimes it just means there's a layer of something we maybe stuffed or, didn't, that's just coming up from the depths.
It's healing a broken heart, like the broken heart can come from many, many things. But I feel like that's the biggest lesson, and the journey that you're on right now is healing your broken heart. So yeah, those cards you pulled are really powerful. So let me show you the cards that I got. So for intuition, we got the King of Wands, or basically like jumping off point, tuning into the energy of this is really important. And this is about knowing what you're passionate about. This is about like understanding and being grounded in your desire as well. being clear about what it is that you want. The wands can be about passion and creativity and action. So knowing what you want to do and finding confidence that, you know, this is like something that has initiated in your life, that you've initiated in your life, whether karmically or law of attraction or all that stuff, and that you have to own, like you have to own it. And I think when you own it, Hyra Essa, you're gonna feel so much better about it, because you're gonna be like, no, this is like, I've been talking about this, you guys know I sing songs, I've been a little bit MIA on that end, but there is a song that that's been wanting to come through, and it will come through because it keeps coming into my mind. And the title of the song is, the title came to me first, and it's I prayed for this, and I keep hearing like a chorus with those words, like I prayed for this. And what I'm getting from that message is like, yes, you know, you pray for things with your energy, you pray for things with your like desire, you pray for things all the time. And so it's a reminder of like, what if we lived our life with a little bit more consciousness? Like, what if we lived our life with a little bit of more awareness? And then our prayers, you know what I mean, might bring to us the like things that, you know, we actually desire positively, you know, because we attract both the positive and the negative. Like, it's just a cycle of vibration and frequency that just goes out and comes in, goes out and comes in. So this is about owning your desire and like owning your movement prayer. Now the challenge card is the Three of Cups. So I think the challenge for you is to have fun, like to just relax a little bit and enjoy it. Like, you know, like, yes, it's not easy, but you should definitely celebrate, you know, because so much progress is happening. Like when we experience this kind of change, and I mean, I'm talking personally too, progress is happening, you know, things are moving. It's not stuck. And that's the positive side of it. The overall theme is the star.
Oh, I love that.
I know. And the star is all about your hopes and your dreams, and like, you know, wishing upon a star and being connected to, you know, the higher realms, the celestial realms, your starseed families, your starseed ancestry. Like, this beautiful woman is also, she's nude and she's in the elements.
Exposed, yeah.
Exposed as well, but like very raw. Dawn says Satnam, very raw, and like, this is like I feel this like beautiful raw energy of like nature and connecting to the stars, you know, as above, so below. And that's what's happening right now. Like, it is, there's a master plan that's unfolding in your life. And that's what's beautiful about it. The star is a beautiful, beautiful card.
Yeah, that just like is such a reaffirming like message that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And like, you know, the thing is that when we are calling our prayers into being, sometimes the answers to our prayers can look really messy. Like in 2022, I put on a piece of Moldavite and like a whole bunch of things happened. And I thought for a while, I was like, does the universe hate me? You know, and then all of a sudden, I know, I'm just kidding. But, you know, and then all of a sudden I end up like looking back and I'm like, wow, like, you know, the universe was really moving me from point A to point B. And from my perspective down here, I just feel like, what the hell is happening? When really it's the universe conspiring in my favor to give me the desires of my heart. And so, like, hang in there.
Totally. And then we get the wisdom from the ancestors, and you actually got the Seven of Cups, and it did come out reversed. And so this card, to me, like in every reading, the cards have like a traditional symbol, but oftentimes when I'm doing readings, something else comes through, you know, and I just go with that because obviously the intuition is coming through. But these cups represent like all of the dreams that you have in your life, but also all of the ideas and so many things that sometimes it can feel overwhelming, like you're not sure
Mhm.
what's going on, or there's overwhelming of emotions because these are like all these cups and all these different situations, all these different things are going on. But it came out reversed, which to me seems like the message is you have the power to stop this feeling like an overwhelming, like too much of an experience, and actually taking control, meaning to understand the power of emotion to help us. It brings more like color to life. Life would be really boring if there was no emotion. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Emotion brings color to life, and emotion is beautiful. Like, how many times have you like felt emotional about like something that you watched or a song that you heard, and the emotions can bring in like such love, and they can bring in such high frequency but also low frequency. But this is about becoming more aware that you have the power to navigate through all of the emotional intensity that's happening in your life. And the animal that you got is the bear, which,
Oh.
like mama bear, like that energy. Like I've been seeing, like, how YouTube algorithm like shows you a bunch of random stuff sometimes. It's been showing me bear videos, and
Hmm.
mama bears and cubs. But more than
Oh.
anything, the bear is the animal of the spring, and the bear both hibernates and then
Mhm.
eventually wakes up from its slumber and needs to go out and start moving and start finding food. And it's like a process of like gently waking yourself up from the slumber. Maybe the slumber represents the lack of awareness. Gently waking yourself up and being fully
Mhm.
present for the manifestations that are showing up, which bear represents spring, which is when the seeds start to sprout. So it's an
Yeah.
early beginning stage of bigger and more like expansive manifestations that are happening right now. So that's what I got.
And I love that hibernation piece because, when I saw this, I was like, oh man, like you're on fire right now, but you need some rest. Like you might be burning the candle at both ends. And I felt some feeling like your body might need something or your body might need rest. Um, I love that. And the bear, I feel like the bear is like so comforting and protective, but also bear knows when it's time to just go lay down. And like, does the bear worry about what's going on outside of the den? No. Like he just does what he's doing, and she lets it be whatever, and so I love that. And I almost kind of feel like maybe you need to go crawl into your bed or something and give yourself that beautiful, hibernation. So from the Lyran deck, you got the Immaculate Conception card. And I love that one because this one always comes through for me when things do feel a little chaotic or a little crazy. And I need that, like, I need to be reaffirmed that everything is exactly as it should be. So it says when the Immaculate Conception card arrives, it is your Lyran family broadcasting that something new is seeking to be birthed through your sacred vessel. Whether this is an artistic endeavor, scientific discovery, or the reengineering of how you operate on Earth, something entirely new is seeking to come through your consciousness. So that's probably going to make you feel uncomfy because it's new. Make this a moment to open yourself fully to the essence of spirit, allowing for all to mingle with your molecular structure so that your DNA may weave together with the higher planes and evolve. In this place of communion, your genetics heal and you birth yourself in the new sacred human. Dedicate time to yourself in peaceful surroundings and allow for divine guidance to occur. And then your additional meanings are coming to the whole, integration, new cycle, new friends, mind opening, creativity, time of positive transformation, and time for self. So that hibernation, the bear.
Love it. Beautiful. And then the oracle card that I pulled for you from the Gene Keys is the 50th Gene Key of equilibrium. So I would look into, do you have the 50th in your chart? Equilibrium can be lost, but harmony is constant and infinite. This Gene Key moves from the shadow of corruption to the gift of equilibrium to the city of harmony. My gift to you. I bring you a vision of a new world where peace, harmony, and collaboration prevail. In you, I see a potential for inner peace and a gift for bringing equilibrium and balance to any group of which you're a part. To ignite these gifts, you must first be willing to put all of your hidden agendas on the table. Own and take responsibility for your ulterior motives, and your self-trust will grow. With self-trust, you can create the safe space necessary for others to face and embrace their own shadows. Wow. This is how to co-create a truly peaceful world. There is a self-organizing intelligence that naturally arises when people are empowered to be who they are and are encouraged to contribute passionately to the ever-evolving whole. This makes me think a lot about this card that came out first. Remember to be playful. What's the point of a new world, Wheel of Fortune, if we can't enjoy it? Dude.
I love that.
Whoa, that's amazing.
In the choices card, I was thinking, when you were talking about the emotions, our emotions are always a teacher. So anger is divine. Anger is teaching us where our boundaries are, and all of our emotions are so relevant. And so if we're really struggling to make a choice, I feel like always defaulting to the one that brings us the most joy, because that's a feeling that's alignment with our soul. And so I always feel like when I'm struggling with like my ADHD wonderland of all of the exciting things I want to do, I'm like, okay, like which one makes me feel the most joy and just excitement, and go with that one. And I feel like when you're looking at all of them and you're like, I don't know, just like pick one that your inner child likes.
Exactly. Yeah. It's funny that you said that, because I remember when we were still at the house that we were renting and I had my office and everything, we were just talking about this with my husband, that he's like, I've kind of stopped working so we can work on the house. And so that's why we're in a little bit of a financial situation. He's like, but you didn't stop working. And I was like, but I actually cut back on a lot. And then when I thought about it, I was like, mostly what I'm thinking I cut back on was that ADHD brain that like I was just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And now I've just allowed myself to focus my energy into and it's actually helping. Like I
love that.
calmer, I feel more grounded. Yes, I'm not like like my usual crazy mind was like creating projects here, projects there, classes, I'm like just
but right now you have this
closer
purpose
to the ground.
Like you have a mission, and it's to create your sacred space. And so I love that. It's like you just have this thing you're doing. I love it.
Yeah, it is really exciting. So, well, thank you, Jeanette. We hope that resonated for you. I love it. And so now let's do Ruby's question. So what I would want, Ruby, I hope you're still here. I know I saw you in the chat a minute ago. Is to ask a question. I know you sent me your situation, and to share a little bit, it's like she's been having like really intense visions while awake.
Okay.
And trying to figure out what they mean, and also feeling like she has shifted timelines and feels the desire to go back to another timeline that she feels she shifted out of. So that's in a nutshell, like, without getting into the details of all of the situations, that's kind of in a nutshell what she was telling me about. But I would like you to ask a question, Ruby, so that, like, what do you want to know about this situation? Like, what is it that do you want clarity on it?
What meaty question can we ask to get you?
Yeah, like, do you need clarity on it? We could also just kind of pull cards and see, like, what comes up, which is kind of what we did with Jeanette. So, but I'll give it a couple seconds.
I feel like a focused intention is helpful, because then it gives us, like, a nice, like, we're asking your spirit guides and your higher self this.
Yes.
And then it crisps
exactly. Exactly. Okay. So we'll give you a couple seconds to do that. I'm gonna send my husband a message asking him if he could please hook up a light for me because I'm a little in the dark over here. We had to put the plywood up. We have an opening, like, literally just like a opening without a window, just like air comes through. And we had to put it up because the fumes of the generator were, like, coming, even though there's a breeze, it's coming into the house, and it's like, can't be sitting here with generator fumes for 2 hours while we're trying to do readings. So anyways, he'll come do that real quick. But yeah, and if we don't hear from you, Ruby, we're just gonna go ahead and pull some cards. So I'm just gonna start shuffling for you.
Until I hear her intention, I'm gonna kind of do just like a general, just a general next read for her.
Okay. Yeah, while you're doing that, we were pulling, we were talking about it earlier about how right now one of the most important things is that we're doing ourselves and experiencing ourselves is just, like, showing up.
Yes.
It's pretty amazing. Oh, I was gonna see if you could just, does that help?
Yeah, that looks good.
To put that light, like, in front of me so it can yeah, that's okay. That's better. It's actually, oh wow, okay. Sorry, there's shenanigans going on over here.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too, but actually when you turned it away from me, it actually felt better, and not like if you put it on top of up there. Yeah, that, like, creates some light, and that's, like, plenty. Yes. Perfect. Me and my picky ass over here. No, that's perfect right there.
That looks good.
Okay, thank you. He's like, picky. No, but really, that was great. Okay, okay, so here's their question. How do I switch back to my other timeline? That's what she's asking.
So I almost have a question. I have questions. Do you have questions?
I knew you would. No, you go ahead. Do your thing.
Are we allowed to ask why?
Yes.
Yeah. Why do we want to go back to the other timeline? I'm just so curious. I'm curious. Any detail about that?
So I think there's something that she misses from that other timeline, I believe, if I'm interpreting correctly. But you should answer that question, not me. But that is that's a valid question, because I was thinking the same thing too. That these things happen for a reason, and usually there's jumping into a new timeline. Like, I've heard that phrase a lot lately, a lot more than I never used that word, but I know what it's describing. It's like like I'm jumping timelines right now, like with the things that are going on in my life, with the projects, with all the crazy transition. I am definitely in the process of jumping into a new timeline for my life. And so that's actually, I consider that to be forward movement. Okay, so Jeanette says, well, she says, I feel like maybe I'm being punished for. Oh, okay, now you're just bringing in a whole other side of this. I feel like I may be being punished for using a Ouija board. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So,
because she lost a daughter. It was a like a forced, well, a health risk pregnancy, and a like a, not a forced abortion, but in a way, because otherwise it would have killed her. So she lost her daughter that way. And she kind of wants to go back to the timeline where like she has the daughter.
Yeah. So the Ouija board thing. So what I know about Ouija boards is I don't believe we get punished for things necessarily. I do believe in the law of cause and effect, of course. But I don't believe that we get punished, especially for making like innocent choices that, I don't think your intention was to harm anyone.
Bring in the devil. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, exactly. However, one of the things that I do know about Ouija boards is that if you don't necessarily state clear intentions about who you want to talk to, you can kind of accidentally open up portals of energy. And so I wouldn't think that you would be punished or anything like that. And so one of the things, I'm just going to say this because I feel like this might be helpful to you, but one of the things that I do sometimes when I feel as though there's something in the Akashic records that maybe needs to be closed or dealt with or anything like that is, I will just go into kind of a meditative state, and I will set that intention with my higher self that, like if I unintentionally opened an energy or opened a door that wasn't in alignment with the highest, good for my soul, that I would like to uncreate that and just wash that down with source light and release that, with grace and ease, and know that your sovereignty is real and that your intentions are very powerful. And so there's like really nice little like Akashic meditations where you can sort of just ask for, things to kind of be cleaned up or protected, you could say. So I'll do that sometimes. And then, the timeline thing, I can understand how being in different timelines can feel scary and really, really challenging. I don't think we get the chance to necessarily go back, but the card that came out for your overall energy is the World card, and I really love that because to me that's kind of a confirmation that you are where you're supposed to be. It might feel scary and uncomfortable right now, and I've been there before in my life, and so I have a lot of compassion for that. But when I see this, it really does tell me that I am where I'm supposed to be. The card that I pulled for like what is blocking you is the Five of Swords. And so, what?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yes.
Stop. Do, 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 do. So how does that make you feel, Jai?
So I feel, so I'm gonna wait. I want you to continue with what you were gonna say, and then because that card is the first card that I pulled that has like 4 other cards after it. So I
Okay.
feel like it's like a whole group of
So mine,
yeah.
okay, so I'll just share with you what I'm feeling and then I'll continue on with my spread and you can
Yes,
go.
yes,
But I'm
yes.
kind of feeling like what might be blocking you right now is trusting your higher self in the universe, like loves you and has your back in that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's trusting the universe is the block right now is kind of what I sort of intuitively feel, but I'm going to keep pulling as
As
we
you
go.
pull, I'll just say in terms of that specific card coming out as what's blocking you,
Mhm.
I agree. The swords are the mind and the thoughts and the mental patterns. And this card specifically, it kind of talks about like mm, possibly like winning, but at the same time, did you really win? You know, like this card can also be caught up in your own thoughts. And I mean, for lack of a better word, it can be like being in your ego, you know? This it's like in your own story and in the and not allowing a wider perspective to like come into the picture.
Like feeling like you need to control.
Yes.
And so, like, as I was pulling, as you were talking for what is behind you, so bam, it looks like you've been through some stuff. You know, it looks like things in the past has been challenging, and have, stretched or like tested you. So it could, um, but what I love about that is that this is the behind you card. So we're looking at what is behind you. So I'm curious to see.
Yeah, I'll speak to as you shuffle. I'll speak to the what she put in the chat a minute ago. Um, that she can get used to like in the new timeline. She feels like there's certain like details, like her clothing is slightly different, and like the curtains are different, or things like that. Life, everything is mostly the same except for this one detail, which is her daughter is not here with her, and so she just feels like she lost a child who was just with her and now is not with her anymore. The energy
Yeah.
of that. And I mean, honestly, like, just personally, it's a natural grief, you know? It's everyone, it may be also just the way that you're processing the grief from the
Yeah.
loss. But anyways, did a card come out?
Yes. So 4 cards popped out, and I was sort of asking, like, what is ahead? I haven't asked, what's like serving you or what's not serving you yet. But so the Temperance card popped out. Um, you know, so this really tells me that you're still balancing and working through grief. Um, and so the Sun card came out upside down, which just kind of affirms that you are, you're working through some grief. And then the Queen of Wands as well. So it's like what I kind of glean from that is as you're sort of moving into the future and you're working through things and working through grief and stuff like that, like creativity of some kind, like finding something that you are passionate about or that you love or that you can be creative kind of tells me that it would be helpful for you through this process. I don't know what you pick up from that, Jai.
Yeah, pretty much similar. That Ten of Swords really stands out in those specific cards. The Temperance is about healing this deep freaking wound.
Yeah,
Do
it's
you know what I
heavy. It's
mean?
super duper heavy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like healing this wound that has that is present in your life. It's heavy AF, you know.
Yeah, it's
To
like blocked
me,
out the sun in a way is what it feels like.
what the word that just came up for me is guilt. And I'll be like 100% honest that I've gone through this experience. I don't like talk about it too much. I think this may be the first time I'm sharing it live on YouTube, but I've gone through this experience, and it is a freaking lifelong journey to get to the point of understanding why and understanding the reasons behind it. And one of the most powerful things that ever happened to me is I had a conversation with someone about this topic, and I was told, it was an intuitive person that I was talking to, as I was sharing the experience and how I felt like before, during, after, they were like, oh, that was the contract was like dissolved, like it was, she used the word broken. I now that I know more about soul contracts and things like that, I know that there was a contract for
Mm-hmm.
that experience to happen between the
Yes,
two
yeah.
of us. And so
Mm-hmm.
now I just, like, that soul chose that experience in the life that the very short life, right, that they had, and I chose to have that experience as well. Together we chose the experience. And so in a way, denying it, feeling the guilt for it, none of those things I think are kind of useful in the healing process. They are part of the healing process, but ultimately it's really about, what did that soul contract teach you? What was it here to show you? And that's really where the magic, the healing lives, is in understanding what that soul contract was. So that, I just wanted to share that because I understand it very personally. This whole experience. Yeah.
So I asked, like, basically what's crowning you, what's serving you, like, what is working in your favor at this time. And okay. So I feel like when the moon card comes out, this is really when we are deep in, like, a deep dive within ourselves of shadow work and of just different things in our life, or we're really feeling strong feelings because the moon is, just a very powerful emotional card. And so these little creatures under here howling under the moon, like, these are you know like the depths of our soul. And then what I love about this is this feels to me like this says you're doing a great job going through it. However, you may feel personally, but when this, like, if I was pulling this spread for myself, I would feel like this was telling me, like, hey, yes, I am deep diving right now, but I'm doing a really good job. So that came out as what is serving you right now, is, whatever depths you've been diving into. It looks like you have, like, support. So this tells me, like, eyes are on you. So you are seen by someone, someone is aware of you, and, you're being celebrated and applauded. And so, I feel like this can even be like our spiritual guidance team at
I love
times.
that.
Like, if that doesn't feel like it's showing up here in the physical, it's like it's still there.
Okay. Thank you. That was, yes. I felt that as well with those cards that you just pulled up, especially with the moon and the intense, like, going into the subconscious, which is definitely not easy. It's kind of like the shamanic work that we have to do
Mhm.
in these kinds of situations because they call us to do that. So she just asked the question, how do I know if I signed a contract? You 100% did, because these situations in life, especially ones that are this kind of heavy and like loaded, we sign contracts with like literally everyone that we come into contact with. Like Heather and I have a contract, you know, like my husband and I have a contract. Me and the person that I ran into for like 2 seconds and never will see again signed a contract. You know what I mean? Like there are very, very like sort of more important contracts in your life, and there are like less important, meaning not that one is more important than the other. There are more significant ones, more like powerful ones in terms of your life experience and evolution of your soul, and then there's more insignificant ones, but they're all contracts. So the answer is you 100% signed a contract. And I want to kind of go into the cards that I pulled just real quickly, because it's kind of starting to unfold for me. I've been kind of watching them. But the first card that came out, which was also the same card that you got, was the Five of Swords. And the message that I'm getting in comparison to in this reading with the cards that I pulled is that I think that the guilt is from feeling like you pushed something away. With this experience, it's like you pushed her away, and that's where the guilt is coming from. But the truth is, obviously in this situation, it's like you didn't really have a choice, but that's why you feel guilty, because you feel like you did have a choice. You know what I mean? And you chose you over her. And that's like the ego, like me, you know what I mean? And that's where the guilt's coming from. However, this is her energy. And when the Fool card this is the challenge position, but it's also like I'm really feeling she's coming through this card. She is like a beautiful soul, a young spirit, free. Like there's no heaviness in her energy. There is zero heaviness. Like she's not sitting there like upset at you that this happened. And so that's why it's so important to recognize that the Queen of Swords is the next card, to recognize that you are in full control of the thoughts that go, you know, that you process, the way that you process thoughts, the way that you come to realizations. And you need to know the power of your word. Like the Queen of Swords is about knowing the power of your word. It's about being clear, 100% clear about what you want, and then saying it with clarity, but like putting it out there to the universe. Like we said in the last reading, we're manifesting all the time. Are we aware of it or not is the question. You have to be aware of it, because you have so much power that if you're not aware of it, you can destroy instead of create. And wisdom from the ancestors, which I feel like is the same message from her to you. Live life as if everything is beautiful, and celebrate. Like this is a celebration, because it's the completion of, like you could say, a contract. It's like the one thing that you did right, you know, like you went through the experience, you did it, you got through it, and that's the point. That was the point. That was the test, is can you get through this? And then the ultimate is, what did you learn? You know, what has this soul contract taught you? And the card that you got for that is the Otter. And I also feel, this definitely feels like she's communicating to you through these cards. So the Otter is unobstructed joy, playfulness, and contentment.
The inner child. I love the Otter.
Right? Perhaps the most joyful creature within the animal spirit deck. The Otter represents absolute bliss. Like that's where she's at. Your daughter is in literal absolute bliss. Like letting you know, I'm okay. Like I did my thing. You know, I went through the experience myself. I did my part of the contract. That was it. I wasn't supposed to have more or less. It was exactly what it was. And so that contract being complete she is now able to be in bliss. So she wants you to feel the same. Obviously, like, that's what you have to know and be clear exactly about what it is that you're creating and manifesting with your words and your thoughts and your deeds. So fear creates more fear. Love creates more love and acceptance and joy.
And so what I kept hearing as you were talking is like one of your guides really wants you to, when you start to feel these feelings, to bring yourself back into the right now moment. Like sometimes grounding ourselves and remembering that the only thing that is real is right now. Like this moment, the past and the future, is gone and isn't here yet. And when we can remember, like, oh shit, like I cannot change the past, and the future is like an abstract thing right now. Staying in that right now moment where you can, manifest what is coming next for you. One of the things I wanted to tell you as like a past life regressionist of almost a decade is that one of the big tests sometimes, or these big contracts in people's life, is when something really difficult happens or there's a big loss. Sometimes we can stay stuck in that moment, or we can, like feel like it wasn't supposed to happen, and then we're accidentally delaying like what is coming in for us, which is beautiful. And so I feel like they, your guides and angels and your loved ones and your daughter just want to remind you of that, is that that you are exactly where you're supposed to be, and there's like so much beautiful things like coming in. And as hard as it can be, like when we're grieving or we feel loss, is coming back to the right now moment.
I love that. And listen to the rest of the otter message. Otter energy is the playfulness of a child, available to us at any age. They have a giddiness and reverence for life itself, without the presence of doubt, worry, or skepticism. Imagine yourself with a little more otter energy. What would life look like? What would it take to bring you there? The otter card begs these questions and wants to transport you to that precious place as soon as possible. The celebration awaits. This is the celebration. This is the energy it's talking about. I mean, the message can't be more clear. I want to respond to a couple of to the comments. So I want to respond to the comment of that you said I did something wrong spiritually, caused, and you're paying for it. So what I want to say is this is that's a belief system. Like I am, and I want to be really clear about this, because unless you can step outside of the box that you're in, you will not receive the message. So the box is the belief system that there's good, bad, evil, this, that you can be punished. That, if you go further back from that, where does that come from? That comes from basically Catholicism. Like, if I'm gonna just be, or religion, the Bible. Like, in the Bible, it literally, it's all about, like, if you sin, you will be punished. What's behind that? Like, go back a little bit further. Like, why was the Bible even written? And not just written, but why were the stories of the Bible taken and put into a completely different context? Because they used it for controlling the masses. I mean, like, just fucking straight up. Like, I'm just being real, because sometimes that's just what comes through. And I'm very passionate about stuff like this, okay? So, if you go down the line, right? You've got the people that took over the whole, like, spiritual message of the Messiah, Jesus, whatever you want to call it, and hijacked it, took it to control people, and then here come down the line these belief systems that we are sinners and that
Mm-hmm.
we need to be cleansed of our sins. Like, what the fuck? Like, I'm sorry, but I don't buy into that at all. So the
Yeah.
belief system is what keeps you in the box of not being able to see the truth that literally wants to come through you. Like, actual spirit, God, the divine, true bliss wants to come
Mm-hmm.
through, but there's the box. And so, unless you step out of the box, no matter what anyone says, no matter what anyone tells you, you're going to feel like you're going to not receive the message. So I want to make that very clear, because this is where things can get a little bit like intense when it comes to
Mm-hmm.
like asking for
Trickery.
messages,
Yeah.
and then yeah, right, and then being like, no, it's wrong, this isn't right, you know what I mean? So I just, because you were mentioning that, she said, then if it's not my daughter, I found a demon on the board because this isn't right. So basically it's like there's more to this than I think we can probably
Mm.
like, channel in a reading like this, and like kind of a short reading like this. But I feel like the true sort of demons in our life are like thoughts that go against ourselves. Those are like the true demons, right? And yeah, edited to help the end agenda. Thanks, Daniel. So that's kind of what it feels like to me. It's like the real demon is when we are in the way of our like true evolution of our soul. So I don't know if that resonates, and I don't know if there's anything you want to add, Heather, but sorry, I just went on a
So
tangent because I was just like,
yeah, I
I
know
get a
it's a
little bit.
lot. I know it's a lot, and the Earth experience is a lot. And
That's true.
when we are unpacking what we believe and what is true, and all these things, like it's called the dark night of a soul for a damn reason. And what I just want to like leave with you as a message is I have like worked on the duality piece for myself. Who am I? Am I good? Am I bad? What do I believe? What do I not believe? What I think I have figured out that comforts me so much is that we're all made from the same energy. We are all one beautiful energy, like, and we're having the experience that we're separate. We are a fractal of source having a temporary experience that we are separate from God, the universe, whatever, and we're not. We like are it living in a body. So like the thing that you are can't reject you. You are it. You are driving this body for a temporary time, and you're perfect, and you're gonna fumble, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be scary. But that's kind of at the end of the day, I'm just a fractal of source energy trying to figure this shit out. And I think I'm doing a darn good job, and I don't think that I'm going to be rejected for all my beautiful efforts. Like I feel like I'm doing okay, and I think you are too. And so that's kind of like the message that I would leave you with is that hang in there in that dark night of the soul, and might want a longer session.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say the same thing. I think there's more going on here than like we
Yeah,
can encompass in a small reading.
I feel like we could do like a 5-hour QHHT.
Right.
And we all do. We all do. We all need that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes. So the interesting thing, there's a lot there. I feel like the message, and thank you for that, Heather. That was a really beautiful message. And the thing that I'll add to that is to really realize that we put ourselves in these like with the thoughts that we have, with the belief systems that we have. It's called, in human design, we call it conditioning. And a lot of times we don't recognize that that's what it is, that these are adopted belief systems. And they mostly come from our childhood, from like the adults in our life, our experiences, we've adopted a lot of belief systems, such as things like what's good, what's bad, you know, all those kinds of things. And so now as adults, the biggest thing, the biggest gift that you can give yourself to really truly step into and start your healing process is to start to recognize what belief systems are mine and what are not, you know, like what am I, what did I just absorb, you know? And if I truly don't, like if my whole being essence doesn't really buy into that belief system, then we can walk away from it. You can walk away from it. You can just be like, okay, that's not mine. That was someone else's, and I just kind of took it on and made it my own, and now I see the world through those eyes, but those are not my eyes. So the whole process is to free yourself of those like conditioned belief systems that get in the way of everything that is possible, because we live in a magical universe with like infinite possibilities that you can create and manifest. And this earthly realm is like one of the most magical. Like how many times have I heard of this specific realm as being coveted, like by the angels and the beings that aren't here, and everyone that has to get to the higher dimension, which what I would call is the ninth dimension, the void, the closest thing that we would call God, is you have to go through the third dimension. It's the 369. It's that sacred numerology. So you have to go through the third dimension, realize that you're the creator of your reality, and then boom, you can change the reality. So that's how to really truly heal yourself, like just in general, is to recognize that you are the creator of your reality. And I think that's a big message that's coming through for you. And the whole idea of like angels and demons, you know, it's like a whole other, you know, topic. But really, I truly
and one
believe
that I love. But...
Yeah, right. And I really truly believe that demons are, you know, in a very physical sense, maybe lost souls, maybe confused souls. And demons are also like the belief systems and the thoughts that we have that go against ourselves. And you never know, like the manifestation of things in the physical world can be literally like you see a scary demon that you think is outside of you, but the reality is that you're like, it's just a manifestation of like the inner world, the subconscious mind.
It could be an unconscious part of yourself that needs help, that you are afraid of. And because you don't know what this like scary, confused energy is, and I say this because of like a past life regressionist of almost a decade, one of the things that I see is that sometimes we will have an experience in another timeline, and if that experience wasn't like, if we haven't come into peace or closure with it yet and kind of like come back to our soul and our higher self, like that aspect of yourself can kind of emanate a little bit as a problem. And I can use a specific example of that I cleared for myself literally this week. So I had like a little trigger and a thing coming up, and I had a feeling that it might be like a past life thing needing to be healed. And it ended up being like an aspect of myself that wasn't crossed over, that had kind of like been betrayed by someone and became a paraplegic. And so that was in my energy, and I needed to like kind of be at peace and let that go and help that part of myself that was coming up as like an unhealed sort of shadow. But really it was a part of myself that was confused and just needed a little help, like to come to peace with something. So sometimes these, you know, things that we think are demons It's like, it's just something that needs to be healed. Or I also think this is like all energy is a teacher. So if we have something going on within ourself, like sometimes for us to become aware of it, we almost need to be sort of like it needs to be aggravated so that it will come really big, it will become a problem, and we'll go, oh shoot, there's a problem, and then we'll do the work. And so I think that sometimes demons, negative energy, or whatever feels like that kind of an ick is really just trying to show us something. Um, and it doesn't mean to be so, you know, dark. It's just how that, how
Yeah.
we get the message, right?
I love that.
That's kind of my perspective on like demons, is really everything is a teacher trying to show us something.
I
In a
love
way.
it. And yes, and I feel the same about that. And I remember I've learned a lot from Matias Stefano. He's one of my biggest teachers just because I'm fascinated by what he talks about, and when he talks about stuff it resonates so much that I'm like, that's truth, you know? And one of the things that he shares is his experience of growing up and being able to see things like demons, guides, and he would literally, like, they manifested as
Mhm.
ugly beings, like as we would normally think of a demon, like with
I've
horns or
had those
whatever, you
experiences
know?
as well.
Yeah, yeah. And
I've
then
seen it.
yeah, and then one day that he just like looked straight into the demon and said
Mhm.
something like, "What do you want?" You know? Or "What do you need?" Or whatever. And then it like literally dissolved. Because
Mhm.
sometimes all we need is just to recognize that it's there. That's all it
Yeah.
wants us to do, is to recognize that there's something there, and then boom, that's what shines the light on it.
And think about the story Maleficent. How did she become unbalanced? You know, things happened. She became unbalanced. And so when she was in her shadow or out of balance, she was acting a little crazy because she was mad. And so it's like I think about, how does a soul end up like, as a negative being? And it's like something probably happened to them. They probably need love. They're probably confused. And I see this in the astral a lot. Like the other day, there was sort of like a negative energy, and it was an aspect of someone that was a pirate. And they
Mm-hmm.
were like, they did pirate stuff.
I'm gonna fix the light. Keep
Pirate
talking.
murder.
I'm gonna fix
Yeah,
the
they did
light.
lots
Yeah.
of pirate things. And they like felt when they died in that life, they were like, oh no, like I didn't do a good job. Like now I don't want to cross over. So I'm just going to stay in the astral. Um, and sometimes these things can like show up in our body, even causing, illness and stuff. And sometimes it's just a part of ourselves that is scared and needs healing. So this person's pirate, it was really interesting when we like crossed them over into the Akashic records. This pirate was received by the angels and the guides and the loved ones with like so much love and compassion, because really the pirate had kind of kept himself in a little hell space, by feeling, I guess, the like that they weren't good and they didn't go where they were supposed to go after they died. So it's really interesting stuff, but really what I'm starting to learn after all of these years is that it's usually a part of ourself that is scared or having a problem. And um, how do we find these things in our energy if it doesn't try to come through? And so in a way, it's loving messages from our soul, just trying to show us things that are within us that we're afraid of. And one more example of like being our own demon, I guess you could say, is I found out that I had a life as like a bad witch in a past life. And same thing, like it was kind of like this negative energy. And so anyways, it was like me leaving her in that dimension and like rejecting and abandoning her, this like negative part of myself. So, anyways, you might just need to love the living snot out of every single part of yourself.
I love that. Yeah, that is so true. And I think that's really the message that wanted to come through. I think like the progression of like everything that started coming through led to this, and this the realization. It's a very real talk, and I think a lot of people can benefit from seeing this perspective about like negative energy, demons, all that stuff. Because
Like, be
truly,
curious about it. What is it trying to tell us? It might be an innocent, loving energy trying to heal, but it's just emanating as this, like, because it needs something, you
mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She says, "Thank you, ladies." You're welcome. Awesome. Yeah. Well, hopefully that resonates, or you were able to get something out of that reading. Thank you again for booking it. And then we have not had anyone else get on the list, so I think that we're complete. Does it feel
All of the
complete
night.
for you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. Thank you for joining me with this
Yeah.
mini readings. We definitely, I would love to do this again. And yeah, Jeanette says Ruby is a sweet lady. She and I'll have a serious soul contract. Yeah,
Love that.
yeah, yeah. It's all about
Yeah.
unveiling the
Ruby, maybe
information,
you need to do some moon goddess
right?
stuff because it's a nice like path to like work through things. I've been in when did we start this last one? Anyways,
Oh,
we're
level
like
2?
6 months in or
Yeah. Well,
so
we
we've
started in the beginning.
right
We've been
here.
going for a year, basically. Check this
Yeah.
out.
So
I want to show you one more thing because I forgot that I had pulled this card out when I asked what's the soul contract between you and your
um,
daughter, and it's the 25th. You can't make this shit up. It's the 25th gene key with the gift of acceptance. Like, what? The
yeah.
shadow is constriction, which is what we're talking about basically. The gift is
Hmm.
acceptance, and the city is universal love. The path of love is the path of acceptance. In order to accept something about yourself, and especially something uncomfortable, it must first be recognized. My gift to you. When I look into your eyes, I see innocence and trustworthiness, a deep optimism that remains untouched no matter what has happened in your life. I know from experience just how difficult it can be to experience true acceptance of yourself, of another. Like me, you will be tested in this life, but I am here to reassure you that if you commit yourself to embracing your deepest wounds, no matter how deep and painful they are, you will find that there is no wound in this whole world that you cannot bear or embrace. Worries and grudges will naturally slip away, and wherever you go, you will know in the depths of your heart that you belong. I come to
Hmm.
bathe you in the warmth of unconditional and universal love. You are so worthy.
Oh gosh.
That is so freaking beautiful.
And then can I share one little thing that I feel like is coming through before we close that for her is that I feel like they just want to let you know that if you have so there's this sense that perhaps you might feel a sadness if you like move forward in life or are happy or enjoy something or look forward to something or like move on that you didn't love or care or want something or something like that. So I don't know if there's some sort of energy like that, but I feel like the guides just want to let you know that like you can love really big and like you don't have to hold that candle for like the whole life to show that. Um, and they just wanted you to yeah, know that it's like okay to be happy or something like that. Like if there was something that was like a struggle there. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. That's so true. It's self forgiveness. I think it's like it's about forgiving ourselves for holding ourselves back,
mhm.
and then being like, it's okay that I held myself back with my own thoughts, you know,
Mhm.
with my own patterns, with my own like conditioning. Now it's time to go live life. And I think that that's the mess. I feel like your daughter's literally the cards that I got were I felt her energy like coming through, the very innocent, like childlike energy.
Mhm.
It's just like it's time to go live life, you know?
Yeah, like she wants you to be happy.
Yeah, she is always with you, you know? It's like that energy is always there.
Mhm.
So it's not like we lose people when they die, they just stop being visible like in the third dimension. So we think it's the illusion of being separate, you know? So we think that they're no longer here, but they're here, they exist in a different dimension. And
And
that's, you can always, she will always be, she's always there. That is like, I 100% know that.
and one of the things that like the guides will tell me is that like when you're outside of the body, you have that omnipresence. You're not limited by time. And so it's like they have more ability once they've left this little outfit to be with you than ever. It's just hard that we can't, see them.
Yeah. Oh. Well, again, thank you, Heather, so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you enjoyed doing
So
these readings. I had a lot of fun. We'll definitely do it again sometime, so stay tuned, everyone. And did you want to close the space?
yeah, so
Okay.
just thank you so much to everyone who hopped on here with us and to just all of the beautiful guides, angels, ancestors, and loved ones who entered into this time and space to be with us at this time. And we are just honoring all of us and them as we go back to our evening and we just close the ceremony for the highest good of all. And so it is.
Sat Nam. Thank you. All right. We will see you all very, very soon. Sat
Bye.
Nam.